Fugue in G minor, F-U-G-U-E.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, Michelle.
Jimmy McNeil, at a safe distance here at St. George's Church in Sydney, Nova Scotia. So Jimmy's a very dedicated volunteer to St. George's, and the one object that he has spent a lot on of his time is this, our Casevant organ from 1910. So Jimmy, what makes this organ so special to you?
Well, I think it ideally suits this church. You know, it's not a huge organ. They had different names for these instruments at the time, either a boudoir organ or a flute organ or whatever. So it doesn't have a lot of the mutations and mixtures and reeds that you'd find on a larger instrument, but I think it perfectly suits this little chapel. And it's in remarkable condition. It wasn't always in this condition. But we were very, very fortunate in the last years to have the services of perhaps the finest organ technician, tuner, and voicer that I've ever met, Mr. Jean-François Mayotte, who unfortunately was killed in a car accident in February, and we wonder how things are going to go from here on in. But at the moment, even after the winter, I'm amazed at how wonderful it's sounding. It's in absolutely excellent condition.
That's wonderful, Jim. So you usually play much bigger organs than this organ, do you?
Well, the one I play most often, and it's a magnificent instrument. I can't believe that I'm lucky enough to have access to it, but it's a St. Anne's Roman Catholic in Place Bay. And it's a 22-stop, 26-rank tracker organ built by Gerhard Brunzima in 1985. So it's always a little challenge when you come in here because the actual shape of the instrument is different. So you kind of have to get the feel of this one after you've played that one. But yes, I played a number of them. I've played numerous times. The largest organ on the island is at the head, the Highland Arts Theatre. That's a Casevant. I'm not sure what it dates from. It was rebuilt in 1946. But there's a number of very nice ones around the island, but I don't know how many of them these days are being played.
Yes. So you mentioned that it's a little bit of a change when you come in here to play this organ. What would be different about the keyboard on the bigger organ that you would play?
The keyboard is not so terribly different. The pedal board is a totally different shape.
We're still keeping a safe distance here.
The pedal board on here, which is the more normal, which practically every other organ on the island would have, is radiating and concave. That is to say, it's narrower at the back where the bench is than it is in the front where it attaches to the console. But the one in St. Anne's, which is in the European build, is square.
Oh.
It does not radiate, it is not concave, it's simply square. And so it's a little bit of a different feel, and it takes a tiny bit of getting used to each time you move from one to the other.
So the sound is quite extraordinary coming from this organ.
The sound is absolutely lovely. It fills this building. It was whoever designed it certainly knew the building that he was putting it in.
So it's been played by many more organ players. It gets played during the cruise ship season by a lot of people. And does it hurt the organ that we allow people to play it, so many different people?
I don't know if you're going to harm an organ unless you deliberately set out to harm it. You know, it's not as, say, sensitive as a violin or a piano that you're likely to perhaps strike a little bit too much force. It's and an organ, I mean, it's not touch sensitive. The volume and the tone quality is changed by the addition or deletion of stops. So I think that unless you're completely incompetent and or perhaps set out to harm it, I don't think it would be terribly easy to really do it harm.
No, I don't think any of our guests are, of course, and we've had people play from from the Mormon Tabernacle Choir's organ player to people from the great British churches. So there's been people play who were very accomplished, and then we'll just get someone, we'll of course get people who are the organ players in their own church, and then we'll have people who come who don't even know how to play an organ, or we'll have a child sit down at the organ and just play with it a little bit. So it gets used a lot here during our regular cruise ship season. And then of course we're thankful to have you, Jim, come and play it for us when it's not cruise ship season, and we're really blessed to have you this morning come in out of quarantine and play.
Well, I'm thankful as well.
Yes. We're all a little sad about the organ this year because of losing Jean-Francois. He definitely made a big difference to this organ in
It was
fixing it.
virtually unplayable before he
Was it really?
worked his magic.
My goodness. And he could fix anything, Jim? He just had
If he didn't have the part, he'd make it on the spot.
And he made a lot of parts for this organ,
Indeed
I'm
he
told.
did.
Did he? Yes. Tell us
Yes.
about you had to fix some pipes or some.
Well, it was actually, this is what you call tubular pneumatic action. And that was the kind that was used back in the day. It's not used anymore. But anyway, the tubes that surrounded the linkages were getting pretty ripe. They're made of some sort of a cardboardish substance, and they were almost crumbling in your hand. And we were getting some strange effects, like an octave sounding on one note and not sounding on another, and that sort of thing. So anyway, he came in and he took a look at it. And of course, these parts are very expensive, and they're not that easy to find anymore. So he looked at it and he said to me, let's go to Canadian Tire. So after spending $17.95 at Canadian Tire, he had the tubes, and he cut them and he shaped them and he installed them, and now the thing is working perfectly.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He MacGyvered it. That's what we call it today.
Yeah, he was better than that.
He certainly was, and I remember many of day him being here working, and just he could fix things that seemed so quickly, you know, because he knew the instruments so well, and like he knew most instruments, I guess, so well. Would you say, Jim?
I don't know what we're going to do without him, Michelle, both on a personal level and a professional level. He was a wonderful friend, and he was a phenomenal technician, tuner, voicer, all of the above.
Well, maybe God needed an organ fixer. He got the best.
He did indeed.
Yes. Well, we'll always honor him playing this organ. So is there anything else you'd like to add about the organ, Jim?
No, the only thing that I think I probably said it already, coming in after the long winter, I'm very pleased with the condition it's in.
Well, and is that because we're heating the church? Is that the big?
Goodness, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
because the
it
condition,
means
like you
everything.
say, it was in when you first arrived
Yeah,
was.
I don't know how many more of those ice-cold, damp winters it could have stood.
And that's a real issue for us now with the loss of our cruise ship industry.
Yep.
But we can get creative. We've done some creative things in the past, which you've helped us immensely with. Another thing we have to leave, I suppose, in God's hands. But we'll keep her warm next winter anyway, Jim.
Well, let's hope so.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming in. Do you want to play us out maybe with something a little festive for Easter? Or
Sure, let's do that.
it being Easter Sunday?
Let's do that.